there is that special it moment. For a big company or just for one person. This is that it moment for many reasons. For Audi, for me, and for many, many other people. Join me in some magical and breathtaking locations with Audi's Concept C, one of the most important concept cars in the history of the brand. The people from Ingolstadt set up this exclusive shoot especially for me, so I had to bring my A game. When you do something for quite a long time, for me in this case decades, it's hard to be overwhelmed. You think you have experienced and seen it all. But what happened during these 2 days in the beautiful German Alps will stay with me forever. Especially when this is such an important car for the brand that has shaped my entire life. Because this is about shaping their future. So, let us do this. One of the most loved automotive brands in the world is the one with the 4 rings, Audi. My whole life has been affected by their beautiful cars. For the past 20 years I've been a photo and videographer for them, and also through time I became a collector of some of their most loved icons as well. The 4 rings have a strong grip of my heart and soul, and all my photos and videos are always made and driven by passion. So when I recently made the viral film Speak Up For Audi, where I raised awareness about Audi's questionable and damaging decisions taken in the past years, I knew I was doing something big. The over 1-hour film has today almost 2.5 million views in just a few months, which shows its importance. It has already made a huge difference in the company, and I feel the future is a bit brighter. So when one of the most important Audi concept cars, the Concept C, was revealed a few months ago, it awakened hope in the hearts and souls of owners, fans, enthusiasts, collectors, and most of all, the employees. Because what has been going on in the past few years has been nothing short of a disaster, and it had to stop. It hurt Audi's identity, heritage, and history. I was one of the first media that saw and filmed the car in the studio when it was revealed. But it was such a quick in and out shoot where I didn't have that much time to reflect and get personal with the car. And me, being known for always taking the Audis to the most unique locations and chasing the most magical moments of Mother Nature with them, I knew what I had to do. I had to get the Concept C out of Ingolstadt and do what I am doing best, Auditography. A few months of planning later, and with help of some amazing people from the brand, there I was. In one of the most beautiful places on our planet, Füssen in the south of Germany, together with the future of Audi. Just me, Mother Nature, and the car. And this time I had all the time in the world. One of the first things that strikes you when you stand there alone with the car in real life is it almost doesn't look real. You are there, you know it's real because you feel the cold breeze hitting your face. But yet it doesn't look like it is real. It looks like nothing out on the road today. It looks like you're taken back at the same time as you're jumping into the future, if that makes sense. But yet it looks like an Audi. You can see the heritage clearly. You can see the R8 in it, the TT in it. But also some of Audi's amazing concepts like the Rosemeyer, the Nuvolari, the RSQ, or the Quattro concepts. And of course from their historic race car, the Auto Union Type C. Audi announced that they are going to make a production version of this car as soon as they can, maybe even in 2 years. The name is still uncertain because it's not an R8 and it's not a TT. Maybe it's time to bring the Audi Quattro name back. And by saying that it still looks like an Audi is the best compliment I can give it. Because Audi did something here that reminded me of how many times in my life I have been amazed by the 4 rings. And I have missed being amazed in the past years. Because some of the cars that have come out of Ingolstadt lately don't even look or feel like Audis anymore. You can obviously see how lost they were, and it hurts a lot. But you know, sometimes you have to get really hurt to see the sunshine after the rain and have a clear mind. This is the first car by Audi's new head designer Massimo Frascella, who I respect a lot and already met and talked to on several occasions. Let me tell you that it's hard for me to have trust and hope in people quickly. It takes time. But with Massimo and also Audi's CEO Gernot Döllner, I have hope. Because I feel like they're passionate about the brand, and that's what we need. This Concept C's stands and looks made it a crazy attention grabber. Everywhere you go, people's jaws drop. I lost count of how many that approached the car and wanted to take photos as I was shooting it. It made me smile because it reminded me of how everybody went crazy when the R8 came out or when the TT came out. This is that moment again, and oh my gosh, we needed that. Yes, I know some of you might have a hard time getting used to that front grille, and I understand that. It sure is controversial, but for me, it works. I don't mind it. When you look at the whole design of the car, you oversee the front. The thing is, it works on a two-door sports car. But when I heard that Mr. Frascella wants to implement this very design on future models like A4 and Q5, we will have to see how that is going to play out. Time will tell. I am a huge fan of the head and tail lights of the Concept C. They are Audi-ish but yet unique. It's so cool to see the main beam pop out on the sides when you switch them on. It's like seeing the pop-out headlights from the 80s in a new form. And thank God we don't have any split head and taillights in sight. The cancer of the whole automotive industry that needs to go, and quickly. I'm still baffled when I stand in front of a new Q3, A6 e-tron or Q6 e-tron and can't believe what I am seeing. There are so many details I see now that I spent the proper time with the car. And also after the countless hours I spent in editing the photos and videos after the shoot itself. I see the window frame and I think of the R8. I see the mirrors and I think of the B7 RS4. Those vertical air intakes in the front remind me of the greatest Audi concept car ever, the 2010 Audi Quattro concept. I see the wheels and I think of some iconic Audi wheels through time. One of my favorite angles of the car is the side profile. Just look at it. You can't help yourself to stare and admire, because you know you're admiring the DNA of the four rings. You can feel it when touching the front and rear logo. I get emotional just talking about it because the plastic fantastic designs of the recent Audi logos is so bad that it looks like the logos fell off. It looks like they don't know their own identity because that fell off as well. Here, touching the real aluminum rings, you feel the soul of the car. You remember the history of these rings that made you a fan for life. The interior of the Concept C is where I feel the most relief. I think the majority of us do. Because seeing simplicity, lovely ergonomics, less screens and more physical buttons is so refreshing. The current automotive industry thinks that the more screens we put inside the car, the better. But that is backfiring so much, and even recent surveys and tests show that the drivers lose way too much attention by nibbling with those screens. And more people are really becoming so tired of them as well. Enough is enough. We need to bring back emotions to cars that are meant to be driven. So when I see this lovely screen pop up via a button push, just like in the so loved C7 generation, it brings a feeling that is hard to put into words. It's like after so many disappointments they are listening again. There is hope. That's what I feel. The steering wheel. That lovely steering wheel. My gosh, the feeling of just sitting behind the wheel of this car brings out so much emotion in me. Because I have done nothing but cursing in the past years when I have seen the 80s truck steering wheel with an airbag designed by a 5-year-old that just put the Audi logo on a sticker and called it a day. It's been nothing but embarrassing. I can't look at that steering wheel, I just can't. And the haptic buttons on it are a nightmare too. especially when Audis have been known for decades for having the easiest to use steering wheel buttons. So here, just touching the aluminum rings is so soothing. It's something a true Audi heart can understand. And those proper beautiful real buttons as well. Thank you for that, really, thank you. You made so many people happy with this. Now I would like to address some things in the interior that worry me. The biggest issue here is the lack of physical climate control buttons. There is room for them and I'm sure they can be implemented in the design so easily. Touch buttons are just not the same. Give the driver an option. The muscle memory can never be replaced by touchscreen buttons or speech. Don't reinvent the wheel. When something is working perfectly, there is no need to change. The climate controls on the new Audis like the A5, A6, Q5, Q6 are a nightmare. And it's not much better on the newly updated system of the Q3 either. Bring back the buttons. Then there's the fact that the gear shifter is on the steering wheel and not in the middle console as it should be. That is just a big no-no. All the naysayers will say, but it clears up the middle part so we can put stuff in there or our bottles. Or I can already see the other minority yell, but it's probably gonna be electric anyway, you don't need a shifter. Nah, nope. Sit down a bit and let me fill you out with some important info of history. The average and typical Audi driver loves their shifters because it's a big part of the driving feel. Audis are known of having some of the greatest ones in the history and people loved it. It can be designed nicely with the gear shifter in the middle. There is no question about it. I've driven the new Q3 enough to make me hate the gear shift on the steering wheel and I don't know how many times I reach for the windshield wipers and switch gears instead. I personally will never buy a car with a gear shifter on the wheel. I think while bringing it back to the middle should also bring back the loved MMI knob. Right next to your hand you can choose if you want to operate the screen by touch or with the wheel. Give the driver an option of choice. It's that simple. The last one of my worrying things to bring up is the virtual cockpit. It's just not good enough. Audis are so known for having amazing user interface and this should be the easiest thing to fix. Just look back on your previous so loved cars and interpret it in the modern way without messing everything up like in the new A5 for example. How cool would it be to give the driver an option to have a historical virtual cockpit looks like from the R8, the TT or the Quattro? It's just programming, no rocket science. Everything can be done if the will is there. The Concept C is a one-off concept and therefore Audi are very secretive of what powers this car at the moment. Yes, it's electric and it's rear-wheel drive and that's all I can tell you. I was very fortunate to be allowed to even drive it by myself, which I think I was the first person to do so. Even if some very short distances I get to experience it and I'm thankful. I think a car like this would deserve a 5-cylinder engine, a manual gearbox and a proper Torsen Quattro drivetrain. That would be the ultimate dream for many people. But if Audi goes ahead and makes this one electric, I have only one advice. Bring out the soul. Go after the heart of the driver. Everything can be done today. But never ever forget that the people who have bought your cars in the history has mostly done it with their heart. Because that's what the cars were speaking to. Never ever forget that. Everybody can do an EV today with 2000 horses and an insane immediate acceleration. Be different. Be Vorsprung. The Audi Concept C is a fantastic looking car that turns heads everywhere. It also makes you feel proud when you drive it. You are representing your favorite brand and you know you are driving something unique. Just like it has always been. Looking at it from the outside and sitting on the inside gives you hope. It's a reminder of what made me fall in love with the brand from the very beginning as a young boy. I met with the Audi CEO Gernot Döllner recently and we had some deep conversations. Man to man, car guy to car guy, Audi fan to Audi fan. One thing I told him was that I really believe that this is the perfect time for Audi to stand out, to fight back and be unique. The automotive industry is utterly emotionless right now, and Audi can bring the emotion back. He agreed with me and he said that he believes in exactly the same. But the crucial part right now is that they do what Audi stands for. Listen. To remember your heritage, history, and identity, you have to listen to the people that have been not only buying your products, but also to those working for the brand for decades. Listen to those people that breathe, sleep Audi. They created icons, and they are still working there and still want the brand to succeed. Not to non-car people in suits that only care about profit, even if it means losing your identity. Enough is enough. And the Concept C is a proof and a statement that Audi can be so good if they are led by their own hearts and souls. Thank you for watching.